Hi everyone, we are LaChiMoLaLa.
LaChiMoLaLa. Okay, so then this is the part where we're gonna talk about our predictions and how wrong we were.
Yes. I think out of, if we had to give ourselves a score, I think it'd be what?
On a
Negative
scale,
10?
yeah, on a scale of okay, I'm gonna do like my market research days. On a scale of 10 to 1, 10 being excellent and 1 being very poor, we will be very poor, which is number 1, you know? So we were so into it. We thought that PTD was on stage, LA was going to be totally different from the online set list.
We were convinced. We were just convinced. You know why? Because we were so convinced that they'd want to do a lot more Map of the Soul stuff, which I mean, they did a lot of Map of the Soul stuff, but like, again, they really focused on, and there's a video going around, Suga talking about it at the end of day 2. They really focused on the 7 of them. They really focused on all the things of them being together, which makes sense. I mean, they haven't performed in 2 years, soon they're going to ship some of them off to the military. Like, it does kind of make sense. I feel like we were just like, we just love everything. So we just want everything we love. I mean, the set list we gave was like 4 hours.
Yeah.
So they couldn't possibly have lived up to it. But I did like the fact that even though it was very similar to the online concert, the energy was so different, because they're feeding off us and we're feeding off them, and hip thrusts again. I'll just say it.
Yeah, so so you were right that they did sing. Okay, for the encore performances, they were different.
They're different every day, right?
Yeah, they're different every day, because on the online version, it was like Young Forever was one of them, which they did for the second day. But like we got a totally like different songs, so so we are Bulletproof, The Eternal,
which I called out. I was like, this is the song they'll close with, until Tammy reminded me it's called Permission to Dance. But it was the second to last song right before Permission to Dance. I just feel like it's a really good love letter to ARMY, and they were so happy to be back, so that's why I picked that one. So I felt really good about that one thing I got right.
Yeah, and the other song that they sang was from your Love Yourself, Speak Yourself tour, which is like Answer, Love Yourself. So,
which is another amazing song, which I feel like I know a lot of people who personally became ARMY over that song. I constantly read comments on Twitter and Instagram about how that song helped someone through a difficult time or taught them that they were enough. So again, 2 really personal songs at the end.
Yeah.
And then closing out with, a fun dance track.
Yeah, Permission to Dance, but it wasn't like their usual version of it. It was like an extended version of it, because they, they wanted to say bye to us, like very long goodbye, and so they kept repeating, the instrumental part of it. So
it almost felt like as long as we kept cheering, they wouldn't leave,
yeah.
Which was so great. Like, even though you knew it would end, it did feel like we were stuck in a time loop of happiness.
Yeah. And so I thought it was really amazing that their English, like especially J-Hope's English, has improved immensely. Like, I was amazed, I'm like, really, you guys are from South Korea, you don't need to learn English, really. I mean, we
said this before. No one would expect us to tour like China and know Chinese.
Yeah.
So whatever, like, we get it. It's not your language.
Yeah, but you could tell that they were practicing it. And Suga, like, he spoke in Korean, but for me, I'm like, good for him. Like, that's completely fine, because I think for him, like, I felt like he wanted, I mean, not to say like the other members didn't want it this way, but I felt like he wanted to convey his message to the fullest extent, And
I was going to say, he's rappers are word people. They're wordsmiths.
Yeah.
He probably just felt like, to your point, he couldn't have covered the range of emotion and what he was feeling in English, and he really wanted to.
Yeah.
I was also really impressed with like Jimin and V, who both are, you know, not super known for doing English that often, but they'd obviously like written stuff down and taken the time to memorize it. And again, they don't have to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it just felt like they only did it because they love us, you know. Totally unnecessary, totally cool. And you're right, I was fine with Suga not doing it. I was really amazed by, I thought was extra sweet,
Yeah.
extra adorable.
Yeah.
We were really looking forward to that part too, and we weren't sure what they were going to do, or if it'd be all in Korean or what, if we'd even be able to understand it. So it was really cool that they tried to give us an opportunity to understand what they were thinking.
And I love RM's humility, because he's like, yeah, the past 2 years, like I practiced on my English, so here it goes. And so he went into a whole story about, you know, being in a bus and being very angry, and, you know, having, you know, just like rage and stuff like that, you know, because of this pandemic. And then as he was riding over, you know, with the guys over to SoFi Stadium, he realized like that just all went away, you know, like they're back to their natural state, you know, of performing, you know, and those feelings just went away. And it was like a very touching story. And I thought it was really interesting, because I'm like, bro, your English has been like so stellar from the get-go.
Right? I mean, how much more do you need to learn?
I know.
He sounds as good as anyone I know who went to
Yeah,
high school here, so
yeah. And
good.
so I mean, sometimes I feel like he's more articulate than me. So
right? He's really better at the grammar than we are.
Yeah, and I was made in America, okay? So I'm just saying. Yeah.
But you're right. I really love that sentiment, and it seemed you could see that through all of them, their interactions with us during the whole concert. It seemed like a weight had been lifted off their shoulders. Everyone seemed so happy. Particularly, I thought JK was crazy happy. He was just running around. It's funny, when my cat goes crazy for no reason, I call it the zoomies, when she's just running up and down the hallway. JK had the zoomies. He literally went to every part of the stage. He wanted to see everyone. He wanted to lock eyes with people. Like, I felt like he probably has been maybe not the most starved, but if you think about it, he's literally been doing this since he was like 12.
Yeah.
And suddenly he couldn't do what he loved for 2 whole years, and he really doesn't know anything else.
Yeah.
You know, so it must have been very difficult for all of them, for all of us.
Yeah.
But particularly for them, this isn't just their job. It's to them, it's probably a lot more about who they are as people. That performing side of them.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was so great how happy everyone was. Jin was crazy happy. Just everyone just seemed like over the moon. Like, it was funny. It's like it was happening, but we still couldn't believe it. Yeah. Remember when we were outside the stadium waiting to get in, and we were like, we're here.
Yeah.
Like, we were still in disbelief until we got inside, and then we were like, it's happening.
Yeah, and we were like high-fiving each other. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know,
it's really gonna happen. Like, it's funny, we knew it was gonna happen, but it just didn't seem real because of the past 2 crazy years.
Yeah.
So I feel like even for them, that's what it felt like. It was, you could just see on their faces like the joy they were getting out of it. And I always say, when a performer is enjoying themselves, I enjoy myself so much more. Yeah. So, you know, if they're at 1,000, I'm right there with them.
Yeah. And they were so happy. Like, you could see it, you know, on stage, like you said, like it just, and all, like you know, to your point, like all the energy that we were like screaming their names and chanting and all that kind of stuff, like it's like our energy like went into them, and then they just went all out, you know, on their performance, you know.
It's like the fuel they needed. I mean, I have loved their online performances, and I have said consistently, I hope that they keep those for International Army, but I'm down if they do it in front of a crowd. You know, I feel like it's much easier for a performer to get into it, you know, when they have that immediate feedback, so that they know that what they're doing is making an impact. And we also need to talk about how V is still hurt. And he was doing a lot, actually. He was dancing a lot more than I thought he was going to be. And I feel like he really pushed himself because he wanted to have this special moment.
Yeah, so if people don't remember or didn't know, like for the onstage performance back in late October, he was pulled out from any dancing. He was forced to sit down. And it was doctor's orders. Doctor said you absolutely cannot dance around stage. So
he like tore something, right? Or he pulled something in his leg.
Yeah. I think it was something like I'm not sure if it was his calf or his knee, but I'm thinking it's his knee, but I could be completely wrong.
And he said it was like an accident in rehearsals or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And so so he's still feeling the pain, you know, from his leg. It's not fully healed yet. And if you guys watched the V Live the night of the 27th, there's subtitles now. JK, Jimin, and V, they were talking about it, and V's like, I'm still not 100%. Like, my leg is still sore, you know, like.
And that's why I was so surprised, because he was doing like abbreviated dancing, but he was still like in formation, doing all the hands, doing as much as he could. And I mean, God bless him. I just don't want him to hurt himself. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Jimin was really cute in that V Live too. He's like, I swear he put on his like PT hat or physical therapist hat. And he was telling V like, well, you know, your leg, okay, first JK said, all right, you know, it's good for you to like, you know, move your body, you know, you pretty much need to move your leg, you know, like that's how stiff. That's how it's gonna get better, you know. And then Jimin comes in and says, you need to do exercises to strengthen up muscles around that surrounding area, which I'm again assuming his knee, to strengthen it, you know. So, and he's absolutely right, you know. And I could attest to that because I've been through like so many different injuries, especially with my knee. And so I get it, you know. Yeah, you're supposed to strengthen all those tiny muscles around your injury so that you can get back to 100%. Now, that being said, you know, like for him, he's a performer and he wants to perform in LA in front of Army. So it's hard for him because there's actually footage on Twitter that shows him limping on one leg and him on the floor sitting like on his calves and stretching his quads. So just
and you think about it, you're in the moment, everything's happening, and a lot of that's muscle memory.
Yeah.
So he probably was dancing a little more than he meant to.
Yeah.
Just, you know, because when you train that much, I would consider them professional dancers. And, you know, any ballet dancer or contemporary dancer will tell you that you know, it is a skill. It is something you work on every day and it becomes just innate.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there was plenty of stuff where I was a little worried that maybe the first night he went all in and then it was going to be bad after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So keep him in your thoughts. We just want him to be healthy. And it sucks because, like you said, those injuries, you never know how long they're going to take, especially because, like we both said, they're performers, they're professional dancers. That means, you know, they put a lot of extra strain on those muscles already.
Yeah, because...
just like athletes.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they have to warm up and all that kind of stuff, too, for all the dancing that they have to do.
And I consider V one of the really good dancers. I think those three, JK, Jimin, and V, I mean, the crazy thing is everyone in BTS can dance. Yeah. But you see those three a lot together in the same line towards the front, right behind J-Hope. Yeah. You know, so I know that's something that he's proud of, that he knows he does well. And nobody likes to sit on the sidelines when you're like, this is my jam. This is what I do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So, but yeah. So V, if you're ever watching, ice that. So
ice that. Ice that. Is that our new catchphrase? V, ice that. Jimin,
ice that. Yeah, ice that. Ice
JK.
That. Yeah, ice that. Yeah, or ice and warm it up, whatever.
Ice and warm it up. Yeah. But yeah, even though we were wrong about the set list, we weren't wrong about the energy and the excitement and you know, just the amount of work they had put into it. You know, and there were a couple times where like the sound was maybe a little weird or wonky or whatever, and you could see them getting upset about it.
You know, even from the get-go, like the music videos, even though we were all like singing along to the music, you actually made a comment saying, and you could hear it in one of our videos, I think it was a mic drop, but you're like, why aren't their voices in sync? You know, like with the video, like you would think that this big venue would get it down by now, you know?
Yeah, which was really, it's like, it's not that like, first of all, you shouldn't have to sync it up. So what's happening backstage that they're separate?
Yeah.
I remember saying that. I was like, uh-oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I don't think perfectionist is too strong a word for most of those boys. RM, Jimin, I'm looking at you. So, you know, I knew that they were going to be a little frustrated that was happening.
Yeah.
You always want to have a perfect show. Spoiler alert, no such thing. But when it's something that you can't control, I feel like that's even worse. Like, it's one thing if you mess up and you're like, I'll fix that next time. But if it's not even you and you're like,
one of our girlfriends pointed out that RM was really frustrated that he wound up, you know, throwing something or whatnot, you know,
I think it was a water bottle or something, maybe.
Yeah. And so it was really, and it's strange because they rehearsed like in the morning, and then they did the official sound check, like,
and we were outside, so we heard sound check.
And
we weren't inside looking at their beautiful faces, but we heard it and it was good.
And so, but then when it came time for the performance, like especially during Dynamite and Butter, that medley, that's where the sound got all crazy, you know. So it wasn't perfect for them, unfortunately, but you know, we still enjoyed it.
We loved it. And honestly, those little inconsistencies make it seem more real in a weird way, because it's like, you know, it's live. Crap happens. You know, there's just nothing you can do about it sometimes. And you know, they're still professionals. The way they handle everything is great. And they still give us 110%, even if they know it's not fully working. But it was just so much fun. Like, honestly, guys, I know you all want to go anyway, but you gotta go. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a different, like you mentioned earlier, it's different online versus in person, clearly, because you could feel like that whole energy from like just everyone, you know.
It was so nice not to be the only one dancing. Usually it's just me dancing in my room, but this time it was, you know, and we kept, you'll see it in our videos, we kept taking videos of the whole crowd. It was everyone, how, like I said before, it was just a communal experience, but in the best way. It's kind of what I imagine church would be like if I went to church. Like, you know, like we were all like focused on one thing and having the best time. And, you know, I just felt like transported, and I would highly recommend it. I have gone to a million concerts. I used to go to one a week for a long time. And this was one of the largest venues I've ever been to, but it felt intimate because of the crowd.
And I want to ask you, like, what was your favorite performance of the night?
Oh my gosh.
I know that's a tough one.
That is a tough one because they played some of my favorite songs. I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I just really, really have a strong connection to Blue and Gray.
Aww.
And even though it's a slower song and it's not really one that I think most people think of, I just feel like they do it so well. Like, we're so used to seeing them like dancing hardcore and like running around, but it's a very different color to see them in ballad mode. And V has the most amazing voice on it, and I love it. I feel like it gives every single person a chance to show off their strengths. In a quieter, different way. I do happen to be one of those people who, like, I'll love a band and I'll be like, I know they're known for thrash metal, but I like this one ballad. You know what I mean? Or I know they're known for ballads, but I like this EDM song. So I do kind of like it when a band can flip your expectations on its head. So I guess I'd have to say Blue and Gray.
For me, like, I like that whole Black Swan.
Oh, that was amazing.
Intro. But that's actually not my favorite performance. It's very close to it, because it's I think I mentioned this on the online post review, like how beautiful it looked and stuff like that. It's 100 times better in person, by the way. But not to say that it was awful in online, because why did I, make it sound like that? They're both good. They're both great.
We all know it's all good.
Okay. Okay. So for me, I like the little spurt of like medley that they did, like Airplane Part 2, and then
when they have the band, when they have like the brass band.
Well, no, not the brass band, because that's like with The Boy with Love and Dynamite and Butter, right?
I did really like that too.
Yeah, that was really good too. Like with the live band, it has a
and
different
like the
feel.
backup singers and stuff. That's another, again, a totally different type of BTS that we're not used to.
Yeah. So, but it was after that where they had like they sang like their classic music, like Airplane Part 2. Bapse, and then like I need you girl, like, or and it's just like all this little like Save Me, and all in this like tiny medley, and
like a verse and a chorus, a verse and a chorus.
Yeah, like how they transition really quickly, to, I mean, I love medleys, like I just love it, and so that was probably my favorite. Probably not everyone's popular answer, but like I appreciate the classics, so.
And you're right, it is really hard to do transitions in a way that is seamless and beautiful. And what I do really remember about that medley was the dancing transitions were really interesting, because all of those songs had very different dance styles, but we got to see a little bit of all of them. That was one thing that this show really had that was awesome, was you really, now that they've had so much of a catalog behind them, you really get to see all the different layers and levels that they have. Again, to all those people who think they're a boy band, a one-trick pony, if you would get into their catalog, you would see how much they have to offer and how much they are still offering. They're constantly trying to make something new, make what's next. So I mean, honestly, that is a really good thing. And I love the brass band again, because it was just, why does BTS have a brass band? I don't know. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Keep it.
It brought a different flavor to their music, So like with Boy with Love, like it completely changes like the whole.
And it's crazy that they did that on such an iconic song.
Yeah.
And yet we loved it.
Yeah, it's like a different version of it, and so I mean, that was awesome. And then Dynamite and Butter, like.
Yeah. I did like how they had a lot of different arrangements or expanded versions. It was just, it's great because it's all the songs you know and love, but slightly different, like with a twist. And that makes it fun.
And again, I said this for the online part, because I think I said last time for my favorite part was obviously the Black Swan, and the other one is my most favorite part is anything. Favorite, I mean, the best. But anyways, the transition from Dynamite to Butter, and again, that dance break is just freaking cool, and so, and to see that live was even better, you know? So, I mean, it's one thing to see it online, but in person, it's like, again, like the energy that they received from all of us, like, just like made them like level up 100 times more, and so they were already great from the get-go. It's just now they're cheering for us. They're here to see us, and they did a great job.
They did such a good job. I mean, I know we said this, but I wish we could see every show that they were doing.
I know.
Unfortunately, it's just not possible. First of all, you can't get tickets. Second of all, you can't afford to see it 4 times.
Yeah.
But it was such a powerful experience, and in such a good way. I would definitely do it again. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, if they're in town, or even if they, tour in Texas, like I would fly out. I would fly out to Texas.
The only reason I'll go to Texas. Sorry, Texas. Sorry, my sisters lived there for a long time. You're not my favorite.
I was gonna say my family lives out there, so.
Ooh, sorry, Tammy's family. Sorry. But that gives us somewhere to stay. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, yeah, I would travel several states to see them. So
Yeah.
that's a band that you know is good enough. If you've already seen them and you're willing to travel to see them again, I mean, people literally came from other continents to see them. So you know they're good.
Yeah.
And they lived up to the hype even more than I could have expected. And I really was just blown away.
Yeah. Yeah. At the moment that I became Army and my husband came back from active duty, I told him, I'm like, one day I just want to see them live. That's on my bucket list. Like I want to see them. And I've told him this several times, and to be able to see them like live is such a dream. Like I never anticipated to like at all to see them, not even this year. Actually, I would anticipate to see them like after their military service.
Honestly, yes. I was like, maybe in 5 years I'll get a chance to see them.
Maybe I'll see them like when they're a little bit older, and but never, like if you asked me like in April, when
oh my gosh, no.
I when I was getting into BTS and stuff like that, I'd like laugh in your face. I'd be like, are you freaking kidding me? I don't think so.
Impossible.
So, I mean, getting tickets within itself was just like, we were all shocked that we were able to get tickets,
Yeah.
So, and even more shocked to be at the level where we were at.
Yes.
Yes,
100 times. Yes. It was like tears and tears of surprise. We can get tickets. We can get semi-good tickets. I think I cried over this concert like 5 different times before we even got there.
Yeah. So
but even with all that hype, I feel like it lived up to it, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. Like, not I think so. I know so. Like it. I mean, they're just so talented. They are so amazing. They're very charismatic, like they're exactly who they are when you watch like their interviews and stuff like that. Like nothing is fake about them, like they're so
and their voices
real.
Sound just as good as they do on their albums. Those are not, altered in any way. It's just really amazing how much they sound like that. Because I feel like American artists, they kind of get like filtered a little bit. I've seen a lot of American artists where their albums like at a 10, but when you see them live, they're like at a 7. Yeah. And I feel like for these guys, it's like their albums at like an 8, and when you see them live, it's like 12. Yeah, which is amazing.
Which is like the opposite for most artists. I feel like normally they're not as good live because 1, they're super nervous, or 2, like they just can't live up to like what they were in the studio. Yeah. So,
but the skill is all there. JK really sounds like that. Yeah. And he riffs, and it's amazing. Like,
yeah, JK is freaking amazing. Like when
his voice is unbelievable.
When we watch On, it's like that high note, that in the middle of the song, that bridge, it's like, oh my goodness, it's like, whew, amazing.
But I think you could do it 100 times in a row. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So crazy.
It's so insane. Like they sound exactly like you said, like their album, if not better. And
if not better, honestly, I feel like it was a little better, which is crazy because I love their albums.
Yeah. And
I know I called it an 8, but I'd rate them all a 10.
Yeah.
But it felt like they had somewhere to go, which I do feel like a lot of artists make the mistake of recording their absolute best, so it can only be a disappointment when you see them live. And this, I feel like, because there were so many different arrangements or remixes or extended versions, you didn't get the exact same song, so you knew that it was them doing their best. Like you could tell that it was all the things that they were doing were real and right and immediate. It didn't feel like the soundboard was doing anything to make it jazz it up or anything. It was so incredible and just a dream, like a literal dream.
Yeah. I mean, and their dancing was completely on point. They were so amazing. Like they
didn't so insane. Out of breath, like hardly at all.
Yeah, it was insane. Like no one's huffing or puffing or dying. Like it was just amazing. Like after they did their the intro, like, which was like on fire, then dope, and then RM started to talk. It's like, you know, just calling up a friend, just talking, right? Like sounding normal. If it was me, I'd be like, give me a second.
Right.
Give me a second. That was a lot of dancing that they did on there, you know, like On is like the one that they said that is the hardest choreography.
I think Jimin said that. And
yeah.
He's like amazing. So
yeah,
I do feel like, and especially like, again, we keep saying this, but they haven't done it in 2 years. I mean, they've done bits and pieces, but it's not like they've been constantly on the road like they had been for 5-6 years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of insane to think that they are still this like very well-oiled machine.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, but yeah, it like this is, wow. I was so blown away by this show. Like, it was worth every single penny.
stars.
Yeah, it was worth every single penny, every single minute that I had anxiety getting tickets or whatnot, or it was worth like the 7 hours that I stood in line for merch. It was, you know, like it's, I mean, I would do it all over again, you know, maybe plan the merch a little bit differently, you know.
I wonder if we could Postmates that.
I know. Yeah. But I didn't get to experience it to the fullest degree. I don't think, we both didn't, because there were a lot of photo ops there too. There was that permission to dance sign. There was like another photo booth there.
And I never got to do any of that because I didn't go to the merch. So yeah. Next time, I think maybe I would want, even though it's 7 hours, this is crazy. I would want to go do some of that stuff. Like maybe if there were more of us in line, then 2 of us could have gone and done stuff.
Yeah.
So next time. Yeah. So that's the thing. Even though we felt like we got the full experience, there was still stuff we didn't get to do. There's still more surprises in anticipation for the next one.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So pretty much, just to summarize everything, we loved it. Okay, well, first things first, you know, our predictions were completely wrong.
And that was fine.
But that's okay, because hopefully you guys enjoyed our geeking out of it. So, and if you have not watched that video, you should, because then you can watch this video again and say like, man, those girls were dumbasses, you know. So no, or maybe just me, because I was very adamant about my answers. So
you were 100%. You're like, this will happen.
I know they will have their solo. Yeah, they will do it for LA. You know, yeah,
they'll do it for Tammy. Damn it!
Damn it! Do filter. Yeah, but that's okay. I was happy how it turned out, regardless. Like, you even said it. You know, like, you even said in that video that like, if they don't perform their solo pieces, we would be okay with it too, and we are, you know, like it, like they did so amazing like live that we don't care, you know.
Yeah, it honestly was more than we could have hoped for, and it was nothing like what we thought it would be. So that's how good they are.
Yeah.
So I just want to reiterate to everyone, if you get the chance, go.
Yeah.
It's even better than you think it will be.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. All right. So any last thoughts, Beth, before
just another huge thank you to Tammy and our other friend T, who stood in line for merch. They got me merch. So I have that same shirt that Tammy's wearing. I literally wore it all day today. And I just want to say thank you for going with me. It was such a better experience because we all did it together.
It's true. I want to thank our friends, you know, Michelle and T.
Yes, Michelle.
Yeah. I mean, it's always fun. I mean, like, it's fun rooting for a band that you really love, but then it's even more fun, like, rooting for a band with a bunch of friends, you know,
who all love the band as much as you do.
Yeah, so the experience, like sitting next to you and stuff like that, was really fun, you know. Like, thank you, you know, like, thank you for coming too, you know, like, just sitting next to someone and understanding and like knowing the music, singing it together. Like, we were singing Korean like probably said it all wrong, you know.
Horrible pronunciation, but we were singing it.
But we were singing it, and it was fun. We were like waving our light sticks, you know,
and
for the first
together,
time.
and it was magical, honestly.
It was so much fun, you know, and I want that experience for everyone. So yeah, like I can't wait for future concerts, you know.
And hopefully we'll get to see some of you there.
Yeah. And you know what, honestly, like I don't know, like this is my first like K-pop concert, and then also like my first BTS concert, right? We both agreed it's our first. So this is a high bar that they set for future K-pop concerts. So it will be interesting when we go to watch other bands and how they function and how the environment is and stuff like that too.
And the fandoms and stuff. We just, you know, BTS is the gold standard. So
yeah,
maybe we should have started with something a little less intense.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
no, I believe in all of our bands. I am excited, and this really just made me jazzed. I just feel like, I just feel rejuvenated and like re-energized by it. As much as they felt good afterwards, we did too. So thank you. This was what I needed. Thank you for this terrible year to be over. So thank you.
This is like turning like another leaf, you know?
Yes, it does feel like we're rounding another corner. Like,
yeah. So, I feel
like of you boys, we love you.
I feel like it's the beginning of like a new chapter, like obviously for them and like for us, you know, like
for the world. So I'm excited to see what's next.
Yeah, all right, so thank you so much for watching our video, and you know, we were wrong and we're totally okay with it, but at least you got our honest review of the concert. I mean, things could have gone awry, but it didn't, and they were fantastic. You know, they're great performers, and can't wait, you know, to see what else is in store for them too. So, all right. So if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And we are
LaChiMoLaLa.
And we will see you guys for Monster X.
Woo!
That's going to be our next one in February. All right. Thanks, guys.